Hey, one of the largest Hearse Oldsmobile collectors that I know is this guy right here, Joe Spagnoli. Joe, you have brought an impressive group of cars down here to Mecum's Kissimmee auction. Let's talk about some of the 442s that are out here, some of the highlights, starting with this car right here. What are some of the details? What's some important things to know about it?
Well, this is probably the only triple black W30 4-speed coupe that anybody's ever really seen. It's an original low mileage car, about 32,000 miles. The only thing that's been painted on the car was a fender.
Okay.
And I've always been, Matt, as you know, more of a preservation type guy. So the combination of anything that needs to be done, but the combination of old and new is really where I've tried to keep the base of the collection, you know, around.
Sure. Now, I guess before we get too far into these cars, Joe, let's break down some of these numbers and terminology that people are hearing. Starting with 442, there's a couple different schools of thought about what that stands for. What exactly is the 442 referring to?
Well, when they first when they first started, everybody said it was 400.
Four speed and dual exhaust was what I thought.
They said it's just supposed to be quadra-jet carburetor.
Okay.
And not 4-speed.
Okay.
They made a lot that weren't 4-speed. So it's 400, 4-barrel carburetor and dual exhaust.
And so you said when they started, did that change over time with marketing, or is that pretty consistently what it is?
I think everybody's come up with their own variation of those numbers.
It keeps changing. Okay. So now that we know that, you also threw out another terminology, and that is W30. Yeah. I see it here on the engine shroud. What does that correlate to?
Well, that's their high performance option of the 442. You see the red fender wells distinctive to the W30, the aluminum intake, the heads that were on a W30, the cam that's inside the motor. These are a few of the things that you can see about the car that make it their high performance version.
Okay. Was there any changes on the inside of these?
No, not really.
Okay.
Not really.
Let's take a look at the interior of this one.
You can see, Matt, this car still wears all of its original interior. Door panels, seat covers, carpet. I mean, you can even see where the carpet's still a little frayed. I'm not changing stuff like that. I want people to understand the originality. Weather stripping, all original to the car. It's just, you know, you don't see them preserved like this.
Sure. What kind of tunes you got on that A-track?
I'm not sure. That might be Saturday Night Fever, I think, maybe. I'm not sure.
Cool.
But that is a neat option in this car to have a 4-speed with an 8-track. Imagine how cool you were back in that day.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right, so turning our attention to this orange one, what's the story behind it?
This is a 442 convertible. This would be, you know, the base model, not a W30, a little bit lower horsepower. But this is a great car. I used to love taking my kids out in this car. This was our pumpkin parade, Halloween parade car. The kids loved it with the, you know, the orange and black. They call it Rally Red. It's a special order color. If you look at the cowl tag, there's a dash under there for a paint code, and that means it could have been painted one of 3 colors, Rally Red being one of them.
Now, is this the Oldsmobile equivalent of Chevrolet's Hugger Orange?
Yes. Yep.
Got it. And what about this silver one? What's the story behind it?
The silver and black, this is another W30 4-speed car, 38,000 original miles. This car wears all of its original interior. All of its original chrome and bright work is original to the car. We did repaint this car. The car came out of Colorado and the original lacquer paint was kind of tired. So we did freshen up. Again, that combination of old and new is really what I'm trying to preserve cars.
Sure. And then this one really stands out. What's the name of this green?
It's called lime green,
Okay.
1-year only color, in a W30 with white stripes, white interior, absolutely stunning. You need to see this color in the sunlight. It almost looks like there's a gold pearl in the paint. You will see the sun reflect a gold hue to this paint job. But this is an original 15,000 mile car out of New Mexico. Again, the paint was very tired on it when we got the car, and we had to repaint the car. But none of these cars have ever been off the frame.
What does it look like underneath the hood?
Let's pop it open. Again, Matt, let's look at the original fender wells. A lot of stuff that we retained original parts. The original wiper motor, again, the aluminum intake. 1971 exclusive H heads for W30 only, so that made it exclusive to 1971.
And what have you learned over the years, Joe, about the reasoning of the red fender wells? Was that just a way to make these cars pop?
It was just their designation for the W30. Everybody thinks, oh, they're plastic fender wells to make them lighter and faster. Well, the 442s have plastic fender wells too. Oldsmobile just wanted to make them pop a little bit more with the red fender wells.
Sure. With such an incredible story, have you been able to learn more about how it was so preserved? Any of the early owners in New Mexico with this car? Or?
Just the guy that I bought it from, but he had known the car since it was new in the New Mexico area.
Wow. Okay, let's walk around. I want to take a look at the inside of this thing.
This car has got that iconic Hearse dual gauge shifter, the his and hers shifter.
Okay.
Which, you know, I'm a Hearse guy,
yep.
Obviously, and I love the Hearse brand, so that's really what's kind of transcended me to these cars, you know, having the Hearse shifter in them. But Hearse was a brand that was used whether you're a Mopar guy, Ford guy, Chevy guy.
Yep. And you said 1 year only paint, Joe, and any idea of total production of this color?
I have no clue. A lot of the Oldsmobile records are long gone, but I mean, you can still see all the original trim on this car. We could have taken it and polished all out, taken a little ding out of it here and there, but
yep.
I'm a preservation guy.
All right, I think my favorite color might be the one here behind us. What's the name of this blue?
This is Viking Blue, the most stunning color I think Oldsmobile ever came out with, especially with the white stripes and white interior. Now this was a 72. In 72, the 442 became an option. It wasn't a model.
Okay.
Notice, no red fender wells, even though this is a W30. But what makes the 72 an awesome car to own, you don't need documentation. They've got the X in the VIN, which tells you that it is a W30. No questions asked.
Wow. Yeah, I'm going to take a look at the interior. Got another white.
Again, the his and hers shifter. Gotta have it.
Yep.
Gotta have it. The Rally packing gauges, you see the tick-tock tack there. It's got the clock in the center and the tachometer around the outer ring.
Joe, do you have any preference when it comes to the interiors? We've seen cars with black, we've seen a couple with white. What's your favorite? You like one or the other?
Well, if you're driving a car down in Florida, white interior is a lot cooler.
Okay.
I'm doing a quick interview.
All right, and then obviously this is a small part of the cars. There's one more car that we want to leapfrog to because that is probably one of the most interesting cars out here.
Well, you know, all of these cars have drawn a lot of attention, you know. 65 442, 4-speed air, power windows, power seat, power antenna. You talk about a rare bird. I mean, that's a neat one. 72 Hearse pace car, which you know I love.
You do.
The car that's really gotten all the looks this week is the Vista Cruiser Wagon.
All right, and why is that, Joe?
This is a car that Oldsmobile should have built, you know, because people just absolutely are in awe. Again, when they see this car, this is like a Chevrolet version color, like an Astro blue with a white stripe and white interior. You know, the saying goes, you know, that there were 3 of these cars built, 2 70s and 172 built by an Oldsmobile engineer. I've just bought the car pretty much the way you see it. I've just taken care of it and cleaned it. I've owned it for about 15 years, but it's just stunning. Everybody just absolutely loves this car.
And like you said, one of the draws is because it's basically a fantasy car because you've got the stripes, you've got the entire look.
You got that ram air hood. I mean, it's just stunning on this car, especially the blue and the white again.
Right. Well, hey, this is a small part of Joe's collection. There's a couple more cars we didn't even get to. They're all crossing the block. Tomorrow around noon?
Yeah, about 11:30, 12 o'clock.
Okay, all right. Well, of course, if you want to learn more, be sure to head over to Mecum.com. Hey, Joe, as always, it's a pleasure, man.
Thank you, buddy.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.